It's been somewhat of a busy day in the transfer window for Tottenham as Harry Kane fails to turn up at training and the Cristian Romero deal nears completion. A little bit closer than it was yesterday. I think this is one that we're just waiting for now for a matter of time, but there's so much to get through tonight. Already 160 of you in the live chat already. We'll be talking Romero, we'll be talking Harry Kane, don't you worry about that. We'll also touch a bit on Dusan Vlahovic and a few potential departures, including Moussa Sissoko and Harry Winks. But before we do dive into all that, let's go around the house and welcome our fantastic guests. First of all, we've got Brian Daigle. Brian, how are you getting on this evening?
Hi, it's good. It's always a pleasure to be on Maddie Hayes. Maddie Hayes.
Always got the mug and all. I love it.
Love it.
I absolutely love that. Bobby, how are you getting on, my friend?
Always a pleasure, never a chore.
I love that. Darius, how are you?
I'm good. I woke up this morning with a bit of a cough, so I'm a little bit slightly worried as to what that is. But mate, after waking up and hearing the news today, I don't think that is the slightest of my issues. So hopefully we can get a bit of positive news in the future. Hopefully.
You got Tottenhamitis.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think everybody has at this point. Even non-Tottenham fans have got it at this point. We're all over the place, so...
Yeah, trust me, we'll go a lot more in depth with that as the stream goes on. But I do want to say, just as we were coming live there, we got our 11,000 subscriber. So thank you very much to each and every one of you. 11,000.
Well deserved.
I do really appreciate that.
Well,
thank you, guys. But look, let's dive into it. We start with Cristian Romero and kind of save the pain of Harry Kane for a little bit later. We've had some positive reports on Cristian Romero coming out of the English press today from a few reliable sources, with Alistair Gold saying Tottenham Hotspur are now closing in on the signing of Atalanta centre-back Cristian Romero for €50 million. Tottenham have an agreement in principle and the move will become advanced once Atalanta have found a replacement. Brian, what's your reaction to that news from Mr. Ali Gold?
Let's just say it's the same as what happened on Friday, Matt. I mean, like I said, I've been saying on every stream, it must have been a brand new personal best for Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, just before we went live on the two Brians, you announced some great news which gave us a load of material to talk about, and we're like, yes, let's do it. And I think within half an hour or an hour, the bad news came. These rumours of it's on, it's off again, it's on, it's off again, it's on, it's off again. We've been here so many times. And to coin a very, very wise man, a great philosopher, until they hold the shirt. But from the man just below me.
I wonder who that could have been.
Yeah.
Well, look, Bobby, we'll come to you next because Fabrizio Romano has also spoken in the last hour or so about this one. We know from what Romano said that negotiations on Friday were left in kind of tense atmosphere. DiMarzio went so far as to say they could have actually broken down. But what Romano said today is the relationship between Atalanta and Tottenham was tense on Friday, but after the weekend and today they seem to have been resolved and both parties are more confident about this deal now, but has reiterated that the bid has not been accepted yet. I know your stance on transfers, as I'm sure everyone does, as Brian has just alluded to, but how are you feeling about the likelihood of this one getting over the line?
Everyone knows my connection between Spurs, Romero, and Kleenex tissues. I want him. I want him so bad. He's a player that I think will change, not only improve us on the pitch, but it will be that statement signing. I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it was only £50 million." No. It's a statement signing for Tottenham Hotspur. Anyway, it will be that signing that everyone's umming and ahhing about, but finally getting over the line, and it is a stand up and take note kind of a signing if it happens, and I'm praying it happens. We're in the same situation as we were Friday night. Everyone was hoping we'd hear a bit of news today, but understandably other news has taken over. But standing by it, Matt. You know my thoughts till they're holding the shirt, mate.
Absolutely. Look, I think you're going to be a lot less disappointed than some of us if that deal does go through, because you haven't brought yourself to the point of just expecting it to happen now, as I have. But another English source that said today, Dan Kilpatrick, said that Spurs are closing in on agreeing a fee with Atalanta, thought to be around £47 million for Argentine centre-half Cristian Romero. Darius, are you confident this one is going to get over the line now?
Unfortunately, I'm on your side as well, man. I'm kind of like, after all the sources and stuff, and the fact that me and you have been staying up, I've seen you late at night, kind of waiting to hear more news, and it's sort of like when you're that invested, you kind of just want this to go through now. And I think after seeing how Ali Gold reported it this morning, saying it seems to be getting closer, sort of snuck it underneath the Kane news, but it does seem like it's getting over the line now. For me, the reason it's so important is because he seems like he's desperate to join, and it's been a long time since I've seen a player of his quality really wanted to come to Tottenham, bearing in mind we've got nothing to give him in terms of Champions League football or anything like that. So the wages might be good, but also I do believe that he really wants to come to Tottenham and sort of prove himself, and also prove that he can maybe bring us to a level that he'll be seen if he does that to us and we sort of get into the top 6, top 4, or get a trophy in this next season. He will be seen as a main reason why that's happened. So I think that he understands that his importance in his team could be very, very big. And I think that it's just one of those that you just have to get done. I don't think plan Bs are an option when somebody wants to join you this badly. So yeah, as long as it gets done, I'll be happy, mate, honestly.
I fully agree with you there. And I've said it a bit, he has the potential to be or Ruben Diaz or Virgil van Dijk. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's likely to happen. It takes a lot for that to happen. But the potential is definitely there. We've got a few super chats here. Wayne Bonner with the £2. Wayne, thank you so much for that. Says, never a dull moment in our beloved club. And look, Wayne, you hit the nail on the head there. There certainly never is. We got Yid Kid as well coming in with the $5. Thanks so much for that. I do appreciate it. Says, Kane is a perfect professional, but it is wrong on his part. But if Levy would have handled the situation correctly, we would never be in this situation. I think I tweeted out something very similar. I think I might have put it in our group chat. That it's Daniel Levy's fault that we're in this situation. But it's Kane's fault that he's made this what I think is an unprofessional decision to do this. But we will dive a lot more into that later on in the stream. But yeah, kid, thank you so much for the super chat. Bradley here says, Romero needs to be done before the Man City game. If not, then God help us. Brian, going into that game against Manchester City, Romero surely isn't all we need. We need someone beside him, don't we?
Oh, most certainly. Most certainly. I mean, the thing is with Romero as well, who knows if this signing had been done a few weeks ago, if Harry Kane may have said, you know what? They are getting these players in. Maybe, just maybe, there's a chance that, okay, I'll give it 1 year. But we've gone around this completely wrong. And yeah, we desperately need it. Now, Matt, you'll obviously know better than me. When I saw West Ham were going in for Milinkovic yesterday or the day before, I was like, oh, here we go. Just here we go. And we're stagnating. Exactly. And it's obvious we need a centre-back. We need more than one centre-back. We need more than two, to be honest. It depends if we go back 4, back 3. But if he wants to have that flexibility and versatility, we need 3 centre-backs and Rodon. Because Tanganga, as much as I don't like him playing on right, can go either way. So that we just need to get bodies in and addressing it less than 2 weeks before we kick off, like literally 13 days before we kick off. Even if they do come in, is that long enough for them to get to know what Nuno wants and ready to play the champions and obviously the best team in the country?
Yeah, God, it's a frightening prospect we're coming up with. Excuse me. Sam there in the live chat says, how is it Levy's fault? Harry Kane is the one who signed a 6-year contract. It's Levy's fault that we're in a situation that Kane wants to leave, is what I meant.
I'm going to enjoy talking about that subject. Then
I'm looking forward to that. Everyone, you make sure you stick around for that one. Bob, Brian there was talking about the fact that we need more than one centre-back. Romano again was talking today on Twitch, and he said that on top of Romero, there is a possibility that we sign 2 centre-backs, Milinkovic and Kurt Zouma being other names that I mentioned. Now, I personally think Takahiro Tomiyasu is being brought in as a right-back. But is a Milinkovic or Zouma, is that enough for you to play alongside Romero, or do you think we need to aim a little bit higher?
I think Romero and a Milinkovic certainly would certainly be a great pairing if we were playing with the 2. Certainly within the 3 with Rodon there as well. I did say, unfortunately, and I'm totally against people out there saying "I told you so," and rather be proved right than see the Spurs team struggle. But I did politely put it out there, please, fan base, be prepared for a back 3 of Sanchez, Dyer and Rodon when we play against Man City about 3-4 weeks ago, because I could see it with the Tomiyasu deal not happening straight away, and obviously the Romero deal going on for about 3-4 weeks. I think we just had to be mentally prepared to expect that, and unfortunately it does look that way. But I echo what Brian's saying. We need at least 2 quality defenders. We need numbers in the squad, Matt, full stop, don't we, mate? Be it in defence, be it up front, possibly even more so. And midfield wise, we should be okay. But again, we're still filled with Deadwood. But centre back issue, yeah, we definitely need a minimum of 2. Definitely need a minimum of 2.
I completely agree. And there's a comment here from Mark, says Ali Gold said on his podcast it'll probably be Cristian Romero and Eric Dyer. Darius, is there any point in bringing in Cristian Romero if we're going to put him alongside Moon Boots?
It's basically like playing Højbjerg with Sissoko in midfield, isn't it? He'll be doing more than one job, and it's like it might work, but at the same time, it's gonna make Romero look worse than he is. So I just think that it could work, and we probably will not look as worse as we would do with Sanchez and Dyer in that back, but. For me, like we said, Milinkovic is an opportunity where he's got a year left on his deal, and you're saying basically Fiorentina is saying pay 15 million euros and take him off our hands. I don't really see why you would not want to go for somebody like that. He's 23 years old, I believe. I just don't really see why that's not an opportunity that you would take on. So if I do see, and I've said this as well, I'm not necessarily that bothered about when the signings come in this season or this transfer window, solely because there's been 3 international tournaments this summer. So I think it'll be difficult to kind of bring in as many players earlier and sort of have a cohesive preseason anyway. But if we can bring in the correct players by September the 1st, like a Milenkovic, and not somebody who's of average quality, who we're kind of rushing in because we need extra numbers, then I'll be happy with that. So for me, I would rather, like I said, see this transfer window sort of be a little bit longer, be a little bit more stressful, maybe not have the players that we need if we can bring in, like you said, Tomiyasu, Milenkovic, players like that, because then I'll be happy at least going into the future. And even next, like I said, it's not one season, is it? It's 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons. So I'll be happy with the right players coming in this window if it means that we have to maybe wait until the end of the window.
Yeah, and look, I think that's a very important point, because as much as we want to have every single player, we want the perfect squad going into the season, it's just not going to happen. I mean, like, we could sign 5, 6, 7 players that we think are the perfect squad, but they're not all going to work out, and there's a chance that some of them will flop within the team. So we do need to look, I think, towards the long term of what we're building right now, which is why I think the signing of Brian Hill is a lot more important than it may seem in the short term. We have Ben Thompson here, who's just joined the Championship member club. Ben, thank you so much for that. I do appreciate it. Keep an eye out for the member call and shows that will be coming back very, very soon. Wayne as well with another £2 super chat says, if Kane goes, Levy should go. Enough is enough. And I think there's a gentleman to my left or right, to my left, who will agree with you on that one. I would definitely get his take on that a little bit later. One thing that this Romero deal does heavily hinge on is the replacement that Atalanta may get. And a few reports today, Fabrizio Romano said Atalanta are working on a replacement and looking at Mary Demiral. Romeo Agresti has said there are huge chances for Mary Demiral to leave Juventus this summer. Borussia Dortmund aren't pushing for him anymore. And Calcio Mercato have also said a meeting is expected to take place between Juventus and Atalanta to discuss the transfer of Mary Demiral. He is viewed as Cristian Romero's replacement. Now, Giampiero Gasparini, the Atalanta manager, was talking about their signing from last week, Matteo Lovato, who was a centre-back for Romero, and he suggested that he could be seen as a replacement, but it is believed that they're going to hold out and see if they can get Mary Demiral as well. A few more smaller reports on this from less reliable sources, but one to keep an eye on as well. Tutto Mercato have said that Tottenham are now finalising the details with Atalanta to sign Cristian Romero. The club will pay 50 million for him, plus a further 7 million in potential add-ons. And of those add-ons, 5 of them are believed to be easily accessible ones that could be to do with appearances or something like that, whereas an extra 2 is going to be ones linked to trophies, so less likely ones. Claudio Mauri says Romero said to Atalanta in the meeting today that this is an opportunity I cannot miss. The transfer will be finalised in the next few hours with the same 50 plus 7 million. And Daniela Longo says that Spurs will look to finalise the deal for Cristian Romero this evening. So this is one that could very well be completed in the next 24 to 48 hours. But again, the complications with Atalanta having to sign him from Juventus and then us signing him from Atalanta could delay an official announcement on this one. But here's the one we all want to talk about, the one that we're all here for, Harry Kane. For anyone who somehow may have missed, Harry Kane was expected to return to training this morning following a short holiday after the conclusion of Euro 2020, and he didn't show up. Brian, initial thoughts on that one?
Okay, so people, first of all, I want to say people are hating the wrong person. Again, they are sending hate Harry Kane's way. You're hating once again the wrong people. People. Let's get your person and people. There's 2 people. Obviously, we know the main one is Daniel Levy, and the other one is Joe Lewis. This has happened for 6 years. He signed this contract, but since we've signed him, we've needed a backup striker should this happen. It hasn't been addressed. Now, I don't agree that he's gone on strike, but if any of us, first of all, it's not his fault he signed a contract for 200 grand. It's not Kane's fault. He got offered that money. He accepted it. Now, any job we're at, if you're up for a promotion 3 or 4 times and this time it's for you, and then you get it turned down, you're demotivated. You're like, well, forget this. I'm moving on. But we don't have the luxury of earning 200 grand a week and saying, do you know what? I'll go on strike or whatever. This has come because Daniel Levy has lied to him again. I've seen a lot of people post that picture saying, I want to be a one-man club. What you're leaving out is the bit where he said, as long as Spurs match my ambitions, I will stay. And since Pochettino was there, or even during the last part of Pochettino, the manager hasn't been backed. Kane hasn't had his ambitions matched. And we have overplayed Kane to death. Because when he's fit, he plays. We haven't had a replacement, or an able deputy to come in so he can have a rest in like Europa League games or whatever it may be. He has been overplayed and undervalued. And yes, he's on a 200 grand a week, but undervalued in the sense that there's been not one able replacement, whether it be Janssen, Llorente, Vinicius, who I actually thought was a good player. And when he actually got given time, he knows where the next striker has come in and been given a goddamn chance. Because if Harry Kane's fit, Harry Kane plays. This is all, once again, Daniel Levy. And I'll say it once again. Sabitzer, who was meant to be coming in as a big name to keep Harry Kane. Where's he? Oh, that rumour's gone dead. I wonder why. Romero, this whole transfer saga, if it got done straight away, as I said earlier, there. Do you reckon if Grealish, Dybala, Fernandes, Skriniar, to name a few, were in that team right now, Harry Kane would be saying, guess what, I want to leave the club. I guarantee you he wouldn't. This is Daniel Levy, not Harry Kane. Put your hatred where it belongs. And if you're saying I have an agenda, you're damn right I do. Parasite out.
A few super chats here. Just
really good.
I'm proud of you. A few super chats here to get through. Dan Ed with the $10. Dan, thank you so much for that. I do really appreciate it. Says, this has Charlie Kane written all over it. If it is Harry, deeply disappointed in him. He's hurting the fans with this stunt and it won't help him get the move. The ball has been in City's court all summer. Bobby, I'll come to you on that one because I do agree that Charlie Kane... first of all, Dan, thank you so much for that super chat. I do really appreciate it. Harry Kane... This is Charlie Kane. He's a terrible agent and I think he's trying to fix the mistakes he made in the past. But surely Harry Kane needs to take the blame for this as well, because it may be his agent, but he's a 28-year-old grown man, and this ultimately is his decision.
Yeah, I think we need to stand back and look at the bigger picture and separate each issue. 100% agree with Brian. We are here. The situation we're in today is purely down to Levy and Enoch. Not showing the same ambition, not going the extra mile, not bringing in the players that could have taken us to the next level, and not showing ambition. 100%, but totally against what Harry Kane did today. Totally out of order. In my opinion, it's a bit of a shit show, if I'm honest with you. And the reason why is, I think, it's because we're a bit surprised. Never mind anger or hurt. I think we're surprised. We always said that we all understood. We understand why Harry Kane wants to move on, and we accept it and he'd go with all our blessing because we know the real issue are the owners. But we never expected this from Harry Kane. We always said he'd be 100% professional. He'd always give us his own all his. Everything he's got. I couldn't get my words out there, and he has on the pitch, of course. But the fact he went down this route today, it surprised a lot of fans, and I think that's led to being hurt, and that's led to being angry. I totally think it's out of order, but I can separate the two. I can separate my anger towards Evie and Lenik, and the reason why we're here today, and for him to make that action today is because of them. But at the same time, I can understand, I can see that, or certainly express my hurt and anger towards him not towards his actions today. Having said all that, I do believe, and like I've been saying all morning with regards to the sole separate issue, I do believe he'll stay. I do believe he'll stay, and that's one thing me and Brian have always disagreed on. There we go.
You're muted, Matt.
You're mute, Matt.
I apologise, that was awkward. This is coming in from Max Bielefeld of Sky Deutschland. Mary Demiral is very close to completing his move to Atalanta. It will probably be a loan plus obligation to buy. Final negotiations about the fee, around €35 million ongoing. Dortmund and Leverkusen were interested but never made an offer. So very good news there from Spurs for the four of us, and for the 820 of you watching live right now. Mary Demiral is very close to completing his move to Atalanta. I think that's definitely one that will develop over the next couple of days. A few super chats there to get to. The Yid Kid with the $2. I think I missed this one a few minutes ago, but said Brian is holding back from a massive Levy rant. Don't worry, we'll get it. Omar the 200 rupees says, if Kane goes, we need someone proven and reliable. Why are we not considering the likes of Lautaro Martinez? Albeit we have no European football, there are still players there. Please don't be a repeat of how we spent the bail money. I think that's a concern we all have on that one. But we'll talk a bit more about potential incoming strikers at the end. Chris Callahan as well with the $5 says, it's business. City paid $160 million and he can go. Otherwise, what is the point of all this? And Neville for the 99 Rand. I do really appreciate that. Thank you everyone for those super chats. Darius, I'll come to you on this one because I saw a tweet a while ago and I forget who it was actually from, but the tweet essentially said, why is Harry Kane's frustrations with Spurs? The situation is, if City pay the money, he goes. So if they want him enough, why don't they pay?
Because it's a lot of money. First of all, it's a lot of money, and to be honest, it's one of those where Jack Grealish is going to City for 100 million. I think we can agree that seems like it's a deal that's going to happen. I think that I can confidently say that he's probably going to move. I've read a lot of things to suggest that financially, it's still a feasible deal to sign Harry Kane. They sold a lot of youth players. They've sold Aguero. They've got him off the books. They sold Sane earlier on last year. So they've made a lot of sales to sort of recoup the money, to sort of balance the books effectively. But what it is for me is it's confusion for me. I don't know why Harry Kane has chosen to do this now. And again, Brian, I 100% agree with you. Levy has to have the blame for necessarily not living up to the ambitions that Harry Kane wants. But at the same time, I'm confused as to why Harry Kane's done this, because I don't know in what situation or what world you would ever sort of take a Levy gentleman's agreement as a gentleman's agreement. I think that's quite a silly thing to think about. And I think he knows that himself, that's a very silly thing to sort of hold to. So that's one thing that I'm confused about. And then the second thing I'm confused about is why you've chosen to sort of go on a mutiny strike with 3 years left on your deal, because you don't hold the power with that many years left on your deal. At the end of the day, I'm sorry, even if you've got a gentleman's agreement with anybody, if somebody's not paying the money and you've got 3 years left on your contract, you're not going to be able to go anywhere. At least if he did it next year and Levy was still trying to play hardball, then the year after he would only have a year left and he'd lose a lot more value. So I'm just confused as to why Harry Kane's done this now. He sort of ruined an almost perfect reputation that he had, because for me, I didn't see anybody slate Harry Kane for anything he did. He's made mistakes, and you could say mistakes. He's done things that maybe people would question in the past and sort of rushing himself to get fit and things like that. But nobody would ever think about Harry Kane sort of criticizing him for that. Now he's done this. This has given everybody who wanted to find a reason to criticize Harry Kane. It's given them that reason, and it's also given Daniel Levy now an excuse for, if he does sell them, oh, well, Harry Kane went AWOL. He didn't even want to train with us. So now it sort of gives him a reason as well. So I'm just very confused as to why he's done this. And again, you can go to City and you can say, look, pay the money and I'll be here. But if City don't want to pay or City can't pay, then now what's he going to do if he's stuck at Tottenham and he's sort of created this weird, awkward relationship with the fans and Levy now? So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Bobby, do you want to say something there?
Yeah, just quickly. And not. I know I'm speaking for Brian and possibly us too. But to people, it will take the deflection off Levy being the bad man a bit. It'll suddenly the shift with the hatred will, and I think Brian mentioned it earlier, will shift towards Kane a bit more, and the not the hatred, but the fault.
It's sort of like Levy an excuse for him to sell him, isn't it?
Exactly, mate. And in some people's eyes, it wasn't Levy who sold Kane; it was Kane's own doing. And unfortunately, there will be a part of the fan base that will see it that way. I know I speak for Brian, that's not the case. But do you think, and I know I asked it earlier within the group, do you think it would have made any difference? I personally think there would have been a circus regardless. But do you think a statement this morning by Harry Kane, once all this hoo-ha poo-poo came out, I promised you I'd use poo-poo, if it said, guys, please be advised, please, whatever, I'm currently in talks with Tottenham Hotspur with regards to my future. I hope to get this resolved as soon as a possibility, etc. Something like that, even no news. But because for me, by not turning up at training today, has released a statement in itself. We've been, and we're the narrators of that statement. We can pick and choose or guess however we want to put it. I do personally think that some form of statement from the Kane camp or maybe the Spurs camp might have eased it a bit, because now whatever statement comes out, there's talks of Spurs coming out with a statement saying, "Oh, Kane wasn't supposed to turn up today." Ha ha ha! It just looked like they're covering up a load of crap now. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just being naive, but I do think maybe some form of statement, even if it was a nothing statement, might have helped today's circus. There would have been a circus regardless, of course. I'm not that naive, but at least we had a reference point of a factual statement rather than us guessing.
Yeah, I want to know about this gentleman's agreement, because I don't really know what this seems like is a massive point in this factor, where I think if it seems like it's true, because Kane is obviously not turned up to training. If he has not kept his promise, Levy, again, you can't get mad at Kane for being angry for somebody not keeping a promise. But then at the same time, like we said earlier on, 28-year-old man who's relying on a gentleman's agreement from 100%. Anybody in the world but Daniel Levy. Like, of all people, you're going to rely on a gentleman's agreement from him. It's just, I can't really, do you know what I mean? I can't give him full sorrow, and I can't give him full sympathy, because it just seems like a silly thing to do. If you want to leave, you would put in paper in your contract, there's a certain, if you don't spend this, if we don't achieve this, then I can go for a cut price or whatever. Just like Erling Haaland, he's going to be able to go next year for 75 million euros, regardless. He's going to be able to choose his club. So it's just something like that where it's just being
the same situation. It's the same situation, isn't it, Darius? But two separate stories.
Exactly.
Two different stories. What Kane's done and what Levy has done.
Can I just jump in there quickly, because we get to use the graphic a second time in one day. Fabrizio Romano has tweeted, in the last 2 minutes, Romero is getting closer to Tottenham. Atalanta are progressing in negotiations to sign Merry Demiral from Juventus as replacement. Confirmed. Talks now advanced on loan with buy option. Atalanta have overtaken Borussia Dortmund in Demiral race since last week. But the main thing to take from that, the beautiful 6 words at the beginning of that tweet, Romero is getting closer to Tottenham. We could have a here we go in the next couple of days. But huge news there for Spurs. One that we'll definitely be talking about a bit more in the coming days. But we do have a few super chats there. Neville with the 200 rand. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Says, simple for me, Harry Kane, you're contracted. Be a gentleman like you are. Should have showed up today and sat down and had a chat with the powers that be. Simple as that. Also, Mo as well with the $5 says, Tottenham show no ambition, and average players can come there to get rich with no consequences. Levy has made fans to be a player's supporter instead of club. Also, Mo, Neville, thank you so much for those super chats. And I have a feeling I'm going to let Brian take this one.
Okay.
Here we go.
With taking away with what?
Sorry, the super chat there from Osimo saying Tottenham have no ambition. Average players can come there to get rich with no consequences. Levy has made fans to be a player supporter instead of club.
Well, I know Austin very well, and he knows exactly how I feel, and it's bang on the money. And you got to realise as well, talking about this Romero deal, it brings me back to the parasite. The reason it's getting close is Atlanta have identified the player they want and agreed to everything the selling club wanted. This deal has just gone, there you go, we need a defender. This is the one we want. What do you want? Okay, we'll take a loan with an obligation. Whatever you want, we need this player. Bang, done, there he goes. Bob Spurs said it on a few streams as well. We are being held hostage. If we'd gone and said, right, what do you want? 55 million. Here's 55 million. The deal would have been done. None of this negotiations. It's because we're trying to lowball them that all this has happened. And as I said on the two Bryans, this deal, when Paratici came in, it was identified that Romero was the number one target. We all knew this was going to be complicated with Juventus and Atalanta and Tottenham. This should have been started, forget talking to Romero, who was away with Argentina, with the club, ready to rock and roll to get done. We have seen this many, many a time with the bail money. It's quantity over quality. And going back to Kane now, if we sell Kane and if we get 150 million, we need to buy 2 strikers and a playmaker, because we've lost our striker and our playmaker. So we need 1 striker, we need a backup for him, and we need what we had in Eriksen. So we need that 150 million. And I guarantee you this, coming out of the parasite's own mouth on that YouTube video, we only spend what we bring in. Yeah. Now, we need to go and get 2 or 3 players at 50, 60 mil minimum and get them. What we will do is get 7 or 8 at around the 20 million. It's always quantity over quality. Don't believe me? Go check the records.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with you when you start talking Levy, Brian, to be honest. We have Ian Sargent here with the $5 super chat. Says, what if the gentleman agreement was Levy to match Kane's ambition this summer or sell him, and he's done neither so far? Kane's move to push transfers. And look, there's been so much said about this gentleman's agreement, and I've no doubt that that Kane and Levy did come to a gentleman's agreement. But I just keep coming back to the fact that it's Kane's fault that he can't leave. He's the one who signed that 6-year contract. He's the one who took the word of a man who time and time again has just lied to everybody on a public forum, in that video that Brian just mentioned there, in everything he ever says to the fans in our post-game or end-of-season message after during that Villa game. It's just simply Harry Kane's fault that he has taken all of this to be gospel and that he signed that 6-year contract. Of course, Charlie Kane's fault as well for just being that terrible agent that he is. Bobby, what are your thoughts there on that and what Brian was saying as well?
Yeah. I mean, there's a pattern. There's been a pattern for 20 odd years, especially come to the fore since Harry Kane's. I mean, all Harry Kane will be bothered about is the 8 or so years that is come to the fore with us, and we haven't progressed. We had a chance to progress, and we failed in peak Poch time. We had the chance to match Harry Kane's ambition, and certainly with the players that we were linked with in the past. Just to mention for us, Sabitzer, a Bruno. A Grealish, a Dybala. Yeah, them 4 players themselves would have taken us to the next level. They might not have been still here, but they would have laid a foundation and a base for us to be successful and get to the next level. And I'm sure we wouldn't be in this position today. So, like I keep on saying, absolutely pissed off 100% with Kane today. But at the same time, I understand the frustration and the reason why he's had to make that decision today is because of Levy and ENIC. Totally disagree with his actions today, but like I say, I can differentiate, I can separate the two. Levy out, ENIC out 100%, pissed off with Harry Kane's actions today. I can differentiate.
Absolutely. Dan in here with another super chat with the $5 says, gentleman's agreement is only as good as the gentleman you're agreeing with. Levy's fault for being a slimy liar, but Kane's fault for being a mug. I think he's hit the nail on the head there as well. And I just want to say, the numbers have dropped since, but 2 seconds ago, for the first time ever on this channel, we just crept over 1,000 people watching live at one point. So that is absolutely bizarre. Thanks to every single one of you. I never thought that would happen, to be honest. But here we are. Thank you to all of you for tuning in.
No problem, Matt. No issue. No problem.
It's all you, Bobby. It is all you. I'm telling you. Darius, get your final thoughts there in that Kane one with who's more to blame? Is it Kane or is it Levy?
I think okay, I'm gonna look at it from like me personally. If I was told something and promised something and you didn't deliver, I'd be pissed off. But if I was contractually sort of obliged to go to training and complete my job, I'd be pissed off if I was Daniel Levy. At the end of the day, I completely understand where Kane's coming from, and the fact that he's done this is understandable if you want to leave, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't ever discount the fact that it's a stupid decision to do this in the situation or in the time that he's done it. So I think obviously you have to blame Daniel Levy because, like you said, Brian's listed a bunch of players who, and it's not even like those players were like newspaper rumors. They were players who, Dybala's a main one, Skriniar another one. Like all of these players, Bruno Fernandes, Jack Grealish, these players were very, very, very close to joining Tottenham Hotspur. So it's not like Brian is just naming players who you've seen in a link on in a rumor on the newspaper on Twitter. So I understand where you're coming from. I just think that Kane, he's not been smart in this situation. I think that his idiot brothers really got into his head and told him things that have not helped the situation at all. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Yes, I've literally just said that not withholding a gentleman's agreement is very shallow. But at the end of the day, if your brother is trying to sort of force you to not go to training when you've still got 3 years left on your deal, and this is your boyhood club, he loves this club, Harry Kane. I will never, ever tell or ever say that Harry Kane does not love this club, because I 100% believe that Harry Kane loves this club. But these actions are making me sort of, well, not making me, but they're making people sort of think, does he love this club? Is he loyal to the club? Because again, it's not really justifiable what he's done today, like Bobby said. So again, it's a tough one. I am completely in the dark from now on. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to put my neck out and say Kane's staying, and I'm not going to put my neck out and say Kane's going, because I don't know. I didn't think this was going to happen today. So I think Kane isn't I do think Kane isn't making a few decisions. So I think that a big grown man like him, I don't think he is making all the decisions at the moment. But time will only tell what's going to happen. I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen. So we have to wait and see.
It is simply just that for a wait and see at the moment. And it's tough that it's like that, because I think we're just getting, I said it on We Are Tottenham TV this morning, it's an unwanted flashback back to the times when this is what Tottenham was. Tottenham were the team that sold Dimitar Berbatov, or that sold Luka Modric, or sold Gareth Bale. And I do like to think we're not that club now and that we have changed a lot since then. But when we're getting kind of flashbacks and thrown back into that scenario right now with this, whatever is actually going on behind the scenes, it's just hard to expect the best, and it's disappointing. We had an Arsenal fan there in the live chat a second ago saying, "Come on, you Gunners!" And Fenn has just gone 50 million on Ben White. Good one, mate. I love it, Fenn. We're getting a Serie A Defender of the Year for the same price, and you're getting a man who's played one season in the Premier League ever.
And they're about to drop 30 million on a relegated goalkeeper as well, aren't they? So that's even better as well.
No, but it's
a double relegated goalkeeper.
Yeah,
Bournemouth, then Sheffield United.
And Sheffield United.
But
Get
it is nice
the trilogy. Get the trilogy.
It's nice of Arsenal fans to come on and show their support. So please like
It is, Fabi.
So yeah, appreciate your life to come on to a Spurs channel and yeah, obviously a lonely life, but yeah, big up. Thanks for coming on.
I think Steve, my Matt has blocked him anyway, which is probably the best way to go about that. Mark with the €2 super chat says, just realised Demiral means we can get Tomiyasu. And that is true, because Atalanta were also looking a bit at getting Tomiyasu as a replacement. Mark there, thank you for the super chat, and a good point that they're looking to I'd be more likely to get Tomiyasu now. There's 1,070 watching. Please like and subscribe. Just get through a few of those reports from about Harry Kane today. A bit of good news, I suppose, in a roundabout way, from Alistair Gold, who said that there's a belief within Tottenham that should Harry Kane's stance intensify, then it will only strengthen the club's resolve and damage any slim chance of the player getting his move to Manchester. Fabrizio Romano says that Harry Kane was planning to not turn up to training for a while. After Harry Kane's actions this morning, Tottenham are still ready to fight to keep the player. Tottenham insists they want to keep Harry Kane after turning down the bid a few months ago. Dan Kilpatrick, also with something in the last couple of hours, says that Tottenham are planning to issue Harry Kane with a significant fine after he failed to report for training today. Spurs are disappointed by this decision, and the club feel they have no choice but to fine him after a breach of contract. The club consider this an internal matter and do not plan to comment publicly. So as you were saying there about the statement, Bobby, I just don't think we're going to get that one. Matt Law has also said Harry Kane has stayed away from Spurs training while he waits to find out whether or not Spurs will agree to sell him. Kane is now making it clear that he's ready to play hardball over his intention to do everything in his power. Nuno Espirito Santo had hoped to speak to Kane about his future and the player's return from his holiday, but his pre-season plans are now in danger of being
that's another thing it's very confusing, where he's not even given Nuno a chance to even, or Paratici a chance to even speak to them. And so, because like I said, I'm not, again, we're going back to it. Yes, we haven't really made enough signings earlier in the window, but we are still looking to be making signings, and I do think that the quality of the signings are going to be good. Kane's not even given Paratici and Nuno a chance to even sort of tell them about the project that they're trying to create. It just seems like this was such a rushed decision. I'm confused as to why this has happened so quickly. And also, do you think he's going to not come to training now? What, for the rest of the week? Is he going to show up tomorrow? Like, what happens now? Like, I don't get what happens now.
Darius, even the thing I don't get is the first headline you reached out, Matt, where it says Harry Kane staying away is going to make Tottenham dig their heels in even more. Now, what I don't get is, I get the part, yes, you want to keep Harry Kane, but when that window shuts, if Harry Kane is still here, Harry Kane is going to be one hell of a disgruntled person. He ain't going to be happy. We talk about the Deadwood and their attitudes. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not, and I'm going to repeat this, not associating Harry Kane with the Deadwood. But if he is annoyed, he is not going to be playing wholeheartedly. Yes, I think he'll still have a good season. We saw that with Modric, but it's not going to be the Harry Kane that we know and love and see. I understand you're doing this, and listen, I understand if Man City come in with 100 million again, it's no go. It's 150 minimum, and then from there. But saying you staying is going to make me dig my heels in even more. It's kind of an oxymoron, because then you're just going to have another player that's annoyed. You're just going to have another person who's unhappy. I'm not going to say... Go on, Bob.
Yeah, so what we had before, Brian, is spot on. What we had before was, yes, we all know he wants to go and we don't blame him, etc., etc. And if he does stay, he'll still give us his all. He'll still be professional, and he'll still dig in and give, because he Spurs through and through. Now, if he doesn't perform and he does stay, even if he is trying his 100%, it's not where everyone will have a reference point. Guys, look at the first day of the training when he didn't turn up. It will always be pointed to that. So he's kind of scuppered everything that's possibly could have come his way if he had a bad game, or when he has a bad game, because he will have a bad game if he stays. But we'll all have reference point. With regards to Levy, if there's one thing I not appreciate, not like, but if there's one thing that he has done right in my eyes, is that I want that Levy's avatar was when he what he did with Modric. He made Modric stay another year. He needs to do the same with Harry Kane, and he should be able to. But like I say, the whole argument that we had, if Harry Kane stayed, he'll still be professional, he'll still give us his all, etc. That's gone out the window now, unfortunately. If he does,
if he gets injured, like you said, is he going to really want to rush back like he's been doing for the past 2-3? I mean, he got injured for I know it was a Champions League final and the League Cup final, but the guy rushed back. He shouldn't have been near fit for those games. He's not going to do that. If he gets injured again now, if he gets his staple yearly ankle injury, he's going to be out for 2-3 months. He's going to take his time. He's not really going to want to. I know we've got the World Cup and all, but again, I agree with you. If Harry Kane stays now, you're not getting 100%. You'll probably get 70%, and that will still get you probably 20-30 goals if he tries.
Even if he does give 100%, Darius, we'll always judge him by what if he has a bad game. The thing is, he's nowhere near destroying his legacy, Matt. But he has unfortunately tainted it. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I completely agree in that. And the best phrase I can use is one I tweeted out. I think I put it in our group chat as well. Is Harry Kane deserves this move, but he's not entitled to it, and he needs to stay, and he needs to stay true to the legally binding contract that he signed if that's the way this ends up. I'm sure he hopes it doesn't end up that way, but that's a mistake that he made 3 years ago, and he needs to not put that on other people now. So I want to quickly touch on a potential replacement for Harry Kane. That's Dusan Vlahovic of Fiorentina. Alistair Gold today said that Dusan Vlahovic is a player Fabio Paratici likes. If Tottenham get the money in, this is a transfer that could happen. Romano also on Twitch was telling us that if Tottenham sell Harry Kane, Paratici will have something sorted out, and he really appreciates Vlahovic. Brian, we'll come to you on this one. I'll get Bobby and Darius and a few potential departures. Do you think Vlahovic, 21 goals in 37 games in the Serie A last season, he's tall, good in front of goal, is he not so much a replacement, but is he a good man to get in place of Harry Kane, I suppose, if it comes to the worst?
So yeah, I mean, I'm going to have my say here that I need to come off because I need to start getting ready for Tottenham away, which are going live in just under 20 minutes. So I said it on Tottenham away. I don't know a lot about this guy, but I've heard you waxing lyrical about him. I've heard other people talking about him, especially Iggy. Iggy, obviously, when it comes to Italian football, is the be-all and end-all for me when it comes to the YouTube community. And this guy sounds impressive. He sounds really, really impressive. The thing that concerns me is obviously a lot of the reason players want to come. Yes, we still got some, but Kane is a big pull. And Kane now going is another one. Like, does a striker at that age who could come and learn under Kane want to say, do you know what? I mean, he sounds fantastic. And out of all the strikers we've been rumoured with, if he goes, I would say he is my number one target because of what I've heard and what I haven't even, like I said, I can't really give a true analysis of him because I haven't seen any, I haven't even Danny Rosed him yet. So from what I've been hearing from the people I mentioned, it seems very, very positive. And I would like him whether Kane stays or go. But if Kane goes, he is an essential, like a must, no messing about. Whatever Fiorentina want, you've just got XYZ amount of money from Harry Kane. No peeing around. Go and get him. Go and get him. And we shall see. We shall see. But on that note, Matt, like I said, always a pleasure to be on your show. Bob Spur, Darius, always a pleasure. Like I said, Tottenham away will be live in under 20 minutes. And I will leave, as always, Levy the Parasite out.
See you later, mate.
Thanks a million, Brian. Always fantastic to have him on the channel. Always brilliant exit as well. I absolutely love that. A few super chats there to get through. Will Short, THFC Rants with the $10. Well, you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much. Says, don't steal my money by letting me pay you for entertainment and information. Don't you dare let me pay you. Don't you dare provide more than reading headlines and moan about, and don't let me enjoy. Will, this is absolutely horrific of me. I can only apologise for what I've done to you by letting you pay me.
You bore me, Will. You bore me.
Will, thank you very much for the super chat. I do appreciate it. The Yid Kid, also the $5. I apologise for missing this one a few minutes ago. Says, great stream, Matt. I have to go. At the end of the day, it's not Neymar. It's damn Harry Kane. But if we would show ambition, we wouldn't be here. Hashtag Levy out. Yid Kid, thank you so much for that. And thank you for tuning in. Everyone, make sure to check out the Yid Kid's channel if you haven't already. To touch on a few potential departures here, Bobby, Matt Law, before we do that, Ganesh with the $5 super chat says, we saw how Ericsson was playing afraid to get injured. Kane might be a bit better than that. Let Paratici make the transfer decisions with Kane money. And look, that's a good point. Kane might be a bit better, but he could, as Brian said, try avoid injury. There's a lot of things that could go wrong in this, as much as we thought Kane would stay professional. But Ganesh, thank you for the super chat. Right, Brian, Matt Law, or Bobby, sorry. Matt Law said Sevilla appear to be preparing for the potential departure of Koundé by renewing their interest in Tottenham's Davinson Sanchez. Do you think that's an important one for Spurs to get off the books this summer?
That'll be absolutely fantastic. Again, like the Lamela deal, I was more excited about Lamela going than Hill coming in. Sanchez going would be absolutely fantastic. At the same time, guys, I think we're so involved and so looking into the fact that we need to move on Deadwood. We have to be careful that we don't weaken our squad completely. Not that Sanchez staying will make our squad any better, but the numbers that we'd have. There's no point getting 3 defenders out, 3 midfielders out, and not bringing anyone in and leaving us short in numbers. So Sanchez going out, absolutely fantastic, but makes even more imperative that we get 2/2.5, i.e. not half defender, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it becomes even more imperative. We'll get numbers in, certainly in the central defensive area. So Sanchez going fantastic, but not to the detriment of squad numbers within our team.
Absolutely, a very good point there as well. From the defence to the midfield, Darius, a number of sources, not particularly reliable, but sources nonetheless, saying that Al Hilal have agreed a deal to sign Moussa Sissoko. Do you think that's one that we just need to get done as well?
Now, I'm not an agenda. I am an agenda guy. Let me not lie. Actually, I am an agenda guy, but
honest.
I like to give people chances. However, there's 3 players for me that if they had left this window, I couldn't care what happens in the window. I'll be happy. They'll be a successful window. Eric Dyer, Moussa Sissoko, Harry Winks. I don't even mind Sanchez staying, and I really wasn't a fan of Sanchez staying. But like Bobby said, and he makes an amazing point, I put Sanchez in the same category as Dele Alli, where if you're not going to get a good fee for them, or you're not going to get a sort of close to what you paid fee for them, obviously not Ali because we paid little for him, but if you're not going to get a close to fee for Sanchez, don't sell them, because they can still, if they're your 4th or 3rd choice centre-back, centre-mid, they're going to be able to contribute. Sissoko, Winks and Dyer, for me, don't really bring anything to the team, off the bench, on the bench. And if you've got people, suitors, wanting to buy them, especially players like Sissoko, who's sort of, what is he in? I think it's the last year or last 2 years of his contract.
Yeah, 2 years,
you snap the hands off. You just take it. I don't even care what the money is. I don't care how much it is. He's not going to be able to sort of increase his value. So just take what it is, take your money and try and invest into another player. And like we said, this market is a market for opportunities and bargains. Marcel Sabitzer for 15 million euros, even if we don't sign him, opportunities like that in the market aren't going to come across when fans start coming in, when the money starts rolling in these clubs again. So for me, you take that 8 million, 5 million pounds, 5 million euro, whatever it is you get for Sissoko, and you just reinvest that into another centre mid. And like Bobby said, if you're not going to get another centre mid, then don't bother. But again, with players like Sissoko, Winks and Dyer, you just have to. And I hope, like I said, I hope that we can sell them and we can find adequate replacements, because it is going to be really, really bad if we sell Winks, Sissoko, and then we're left with very, very few players, or players who maybe don't want to be there. So yeah, I just hope that Sissoko goes, but we find replacements. That is the main thing. We find replacements.
Yeah, again, I think that's really important there. Rob from the Last Minute Winner podcast says, could pick up Ozan Kabak for free at the moment. I think we'll steer clear of that one, Rob. He was at fault for that goal against Leicester. Thanks for tuning in, Rob, though. I do appreciate it. You made the point there of Harry Winks. Romano did say again this evening that Harry Winks is very happy at Tottenham, which is rather bizarre because he's not going to play football.
Why would he not be? Why would he not be? Why would he not be?
I think I know HG from the Cheese Room podcast. He said when Eric Lamela left that he played for Spurs like a fan would. And I think Harry Winks is the complete opposite side of that, is where he's doing it but kind of with the fitness and ability of a fan, if that makes sense, which is it's a bit upsetting. Stephen and JJ, thank you for subscribing. There are a few other small stories that I just want to touch on. Pete O'Rourke has said that Tottenham midfielder Jamie Bowden is set to join Oldham Athletic on a season-long loan, which I think is going to be a very interesting one, because Oldham last season were by far and away the entertainers of the EFL. They were down in the League 2. They were the top scorers in the league and still finished 16th because they had a negative goal difference. It was bizarre the way their games went. An official departure today, as you can see beside me there on the screen, is that Kian Etete has joined Northampton Town on loan for the season after extending his contract at Tottenham to 2023. So an extra 2 years there in his deal, but he will spend the next campaign in League 2 with Northampton. And also official today is that Tottenham will play either Paco Stefferera or Larne from Northern Ireland in the UEFA Conference League playoff. and I saw Franco actually from the Cheese Room as well tweeted out a while ago that the capacity of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is 3 times the population of Larne. So I think it's going to be a bit of a one-sided game there if that one does happen. But a lot of news again to be keeping an eye on with Tottenham, and I'm sure it will stay the very, very same over the coming weeks with, 29 days now left in the transfer window. Romero is nearing completion. The Harry Kane situation is heating up. Whether it's in a positive way, we are yet to see. But do make sure to subscribe to the channel if you do want to keep up to date with all of the transfer news. Just hit 11k. We'll get to 12k as quickly as we can. There's 2 more channels I want you to subscribe to, and we have them here to let you know what they're all about. Bobby, tell us about Bobspur TV.
Yeah, Bobspur TV. Thank you very much for everyone for the support. Hit the 1,000 mark a week or so ago, and it's going great guns. At the moment, just doing one show a week, 10 p.m. Saturday nights. It's just a review of the week, and the show's getting longer and longer because there's a lot of things happening by the week. Obviously, if anything major happens during the week, I do put a stream out, and there's no specific time for that. But yeah, at the moment, in the Wall Show, 10 p.m. Saturday nights, and everyone, thank you for the support within the Spurs YouTube family and everyone who subscribed. And it's fingers crossed, going on bigger and greater things.
Absolutely, Bobby. I know I've said it to you a few times, so congratulations again on the 1k. Everybody, I do recommend you go over there and subscribe. It is a fantastic channel to be watching. The bun is in the live chat. Good to see you, Danny. Darius, tell us all about Paxton Road TV.
I mean, hopefully everybody's got a bit of a knowledge on it. But I do want to say congratulations to both of you. 11k and 1k is two amazing achievements. So well done for you guys. And hopefully Paxton Road can be just as good as these 2 channels. But yeah, I think we've got a show tomorrow on Cristian Romero. Yeah. Hopefully he signed. I mean, we kind of took a risk not wanting to release the video yet, but I think we'll do a stream tomorrow on Cristian Romero. And then we normally have a show on Saturday as well. And then when the Liga and the season starts we'll be doing reactions, we'll be doing player ratings. We've got so many things planning ahead. So hopefully you can catch us on there. You'll see me there. You'll see everybody there. So yeah, thank you for having me on the channel. And yeah, congratulations to you 2 again. And hopefully we'll be at that stage soon. Yeah. So hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Only a matter of time, Darius. Thank you so much. Thank you to 2 of you for your time today. I have put a link in the live chat quite a few times. That is for the stream that Tottenham Away are doing at 8 o'clock. They have some big news, so I recommend everybody goes over and checks it out. It's going to be a good stream and an important one as well. So please do go and check it out. And as always, let them know where you came from, because I only do this for vanity purposes. So please do. I'm only joking. Please do go over and go in there to Tottenham Away. To everyone who's tuned in here, I'm actually going to check the numbers because I assume they've been absolutely bizarre. We've had over 7,000 people tuning in to the stream over the last 45 minutes, which is utterly insane. Over 1,000 people in here at one point, still 830 left. So thank you to all of you for tuning in. Crazy. I do massively appreciate that. But for now, from the 3 of us, we're going to leave it there. And as always, thanks for watching.